because we're under a high wind warning.
Yes. No, that's a really good idea because, you know, I may be showing videos, you know, in this class that you will definitely want to, you know, check out again.
Mhm.
And what I did this morning was I recorded several of them without sound because I figure I'm going to narrate them during class. It's just easier for me in general. So that's what will happen. Hi, Robin. Yes.
Okay.
Robin, did you want?
Question.
Yeah.
When you are showing us the videos,
Yeah.
would it be possible for you to put your view on speaker so that when we go back and look at them, they're big
Yes.
rather than small window?
Absolutely. Thank you, Robin. That is really important. And I've, you know, I have not got that down. So when we come to that, please remind me.
Okay, we're giving us the invitation to remind you. That's
Thank
what you're
you.
saying.
Please do, because
Thank you.
yeah, it's
easier when it's so small. It's hard for me.
Of course. No,
Okay.
no. And I think in my mind, I'm thinking that you are seeing it full screen. So please, yes. And this is what I tend to do this, and it's a mistake. So do let me know. You know, I'll check in with you guys before we start to show.
Thanks.
Thank you. You know, I'm still learning Zoom. So hi, Nancy. Nancy is joining us because this is her, although she's been catching up on her own. She hasn't been able to make it to these first two classes, but she's here now. So
Hey,
Nancy,
good to see you.
Hi, Tammy. And Nancy is taking another workshop with me called the Art Chat, which is something that you guys might want to consider after all this is done. If you are interested in, you know, having a kind of weekly support check-in about your art making, I have a new session that starts in February 8th to be exact. And we have 4 people already, and I would love to have another couple more who are people who might, you know, you can talk to me, you know, privately if you're interested in doing that. Okay, so I'm going to get started. So as I said, it's a packed class, and you know, we're at the point where I feel as though after 2 weeks, I'm hoping that you have the sort of basic technical stuff down. I mean, you get a sense of how it all works, and you know, the rest of this time will be refining it, playing with it, but you know, the essential how to do it, you know, at least doing it with this rolling up, you know, using the brayer and the full jelly, you know, you have that under control, and then you know how to register your paper so that you can get more than one color overlapping. You know, those 2 things are super important. So let's see, I want to go to Zoom to the Padlet first. And again, we're looking at these Padlet pieces, not as judging, but to instead discuss what you're learning, you know, and are there technical things that you know, would like to hear about a little bit more, or, you know, questions about things. So let's go to our Padlet. I know this Padlet is, I've sort of had everybody put their stuff on, you know, as you get there. I could reorganize it so that we put things on weekly. I just don't know if it's necessary to do that. So let's keep it this way for a while. And if it seems like it's getting a little bit, you know, overwhelming, which it might be, you know, toward the you know, middle of our class, I will redo it. So what I want to do is, again, just look at people's work, not spend a lot of time, you know, in detail, but to get an overview of questions, problems, issues. What did you learn? What did you discover? So Katie, let's see, you're on top here. Let's take a quick look at what you did. And, you know, really the pertinent question is, what did you discover this week? What did you learn?
Okay. And you can even scroll down to my 3. I think there's actually 4
1, 2,
of mine. And I'll just start.
yeah.
I really got fascinated with what I was doing. It's like all of a sudden I felt drawn in. I did 3 different series. There's one down there that I did.
Yeah, I see this one. Yes.
That one.
Yeah, this is good. Yeah.
So it's what I'm amazed at is when I put each grouping of 3 together and
Uh-huh.
look at them and how, like, I know what I did and it's like, I'm amazed at the variety of the final pieces
Yeah.
and knowing what the layering that I did and how the shapes I used, the sequence of layering from if I did the darker one first or I did the lighter one first, the combination of colors that I could get sticking with those 3 basic colors, the variety effects that I got, and I was
Exactly.
fascinated by it. And
It's
and I gave this one a name. I gave them each a name.
okay.
This one's Into the Woods.
Ah,
I
yeah.
started with those long strips, kind of like up and down, but look at the different effects from what shows through in the middle one of those strips and what shows through on the right,
Exactly.
and they barely show it all,
Yes.
only in the squares that I put on top of it. So anyways, that's,
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Tammy.
and that one there, I love that one there.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
And there are colors there that I did not put on,
Mhm.
but they came out, and it's so soft and subtle, and the effects I love it. So
It's-
anyway, that's
Oh,
what
so
I
good. Good. I'm so glad. And yeah, do you know what is, as I said, we're going to move fairly quickly, but it sounds like, that is, that's one of the main things I think is so exciting is, and I'm sure at this point you've all sort of figured that out, that depending on what color you start with and the series and the setup, it really makes a big difference. It's not like you're getting 3 exact prints, and that's sort of the playful fun of all of this. All right, Sally, we're going to just go right through you. What did you discover this week? And did you have any questions, comments that you wanted to share with everybody?
Well, I actually am so impressed with Katie Bull's stuff. That's sort of what I was going for.
Uh-huh.
I love her triptych, and I just wish I could be a bird on her shoulder and watch her as she makes those. That's what I was trying. I was experimenting a lot with trying stuff like that. And
Great.
I made thousands and thousands
Okay.
of papers, and
Yeah,
I'm
that's
going to
fine.
have enough stuff to collage for the rest of my life.
That's
Um,
oh yes, that's
I did learn that if you put a stencil, I made some of my own stencils, as you can
Yes,
see. And
great.
I learned that if you put them down and then paint over them and then pick them up and then put them down again later, you're going to smudge you're going to wreck your, the paint is still wet on them and it's going to come off.
Yes, it's a little wet. It's, well, it depends. I mean, it depends on how thickly you put on your paint, and also, in what order, if it's a ghost or not. But I mean, generally speaking, isn't it kind of amazing how the colors don't really bleed off of each other?
Yeah,
You're
it is.
able to print, like immediately on top and not have to wait. So generally, yes. And I hear what you're saying about a super thick, but this one is so interesting because you do have this really dark area here that gives a sense of dimension and space, and this is what's so great about looking at your work from a distance or looking at it, on the screen we are looking at it from a little bit of a distance, and you can start to see some of these interesting things happen that you might not notice when you're 6 inches away. Okay, let's see, Tammy, we're going to talk to you. What did you learn?
Hello.
Hi.
I learned to play with leaves.
Yes. Oh, good. Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun. Like you were talking about putting the stencil down and then taking it off, and then you get like a blurry image. So these were essentially the same 3 leaves.
Yeah.
And I had put the paint down first, put the leaves on top, and then I played around with like flipping those leaves over because they still had a lot of paint on them.
Yeah.
So that's how and I was amazed at like the detail of the veins.
Yes. This is, one of the just wonderful, delights of this kind of printing. I mean, yeah, this is just so cool. And when you discover, that outside you have this, like, especially in the summer, an unending supply of really interesting shapes, with the leaves, you just can't go
Wow.
wrong. I mean, what a perfect thing to use for printmaking, because it's, different sizes and different shapes and, all this stuff on the back and, able to get a nice, also, stencil, just a blank when you print the shape. So it's just a lot of fun to
Yeah.
play with this. I
And-
know.
Right. And like even like this where I was trying to line everything up perfectly, but like the two smaller leaves kind of didn't like behave and they didn't really stay in the same place, but I still love them because it's still like
Yeah,
it looks like a really fine ink drawing or something, but it's like it always surprises me. And
Yeah.
that's what I learned.
that'd be great. Yeah, it is. It's and again, your color is also so interesting. How these colors, this sort of
Right. Like the first printing
and,
and how saturated you want it to be. And I love playing with the ghost prints. So it's all amazing.
Good. I'm so glad.
Mhm.
Let's see. So I think Kate is not here. Is that right, Kate? You're not here yet. All right, we're going to skip Kate. Let's see, Robin, you are down here.
Sorry, here I am. I
Oh.
had to.
No, Kate. Oh, there's Katie and Kate.
Oh.
So Kate is Kate Kaza. She's not here. She has a little bit of work to do, but let's go to Robin. Robin, is this, yeah, so tell us what you discovered this week. What did you play with?
Let's see. I noticed and discovered that I'm not actually that comfortable yet, and it brought out my the challenge I feel about finding a focus in an abstract work.
Mhm.
I yeah.
Yeah, good. Well, yeah, I mean, sure, it takes a while for sure, but I'm hoping that in the process, I mean, looks like you're discovering a lot about, how these colors mix together. Yeah, yellow and black. It's just amazing what you can make, with the shades of gray, and this one has, very
I
lush
think-
color in it.
I think part of the challenge for me is
Mhm.
that I always start. I almost always paint over and over and over. I almost never ever in my whole life do I get something the first time that I can resonate with.
Yeah.
So maybe the solution is to, that I need to do more of them. But for each piece, that's very challenging for me. It's good though. It's good
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, I would remind everybody that this is, think of this as all experiment and research. Because this is all about trying out new things and new approaches, and the printmaking, this kind of technique is great for just experimenting with certain particular techniques and other stuff like that. So yeah, just try to keep it light, Robin. No pressure here. Again, we're really not looking at these as finished anything. This is all in progress, and that's why I'm not saying good, bad, and I would never say that anyway. That's just not my style.
No, I really appreciate how you
Yeah.
frame each what did you learn, what did you notice? I like
Exactly.
that.
That's really
one-
that's
This
it.
one, I just I do a lot of figure work, so I thought I looked at, I mean I didn't intend it, but then I saw a figure in there and I didn't want to do anything else. So but you can also see that I messed it up. I got a little bit of blue from one of the stencil or whatever. So.
Well, again, it's just a piece of paper. We can do these over. And what I'm hoping by doing all of this kind of stuff, you guys, is that you start to have a kind of a knowledge about, how to control this. By learning what happens when you do X, Y, Z, you will get to a point where you can anticipate what you're going to get. And I know right now it seems far from reality, but it will happen. Just like everything, it's a little bit of a learning curve, and you're gathering information.
I'm always a slow learner, so.
Oh, no, you're fine. Nancy, let's talk to you. So Nancy is today back, coming into our class, having had to miss the first two, but she's done a little printmaking previously. So, but Nancy, what did you discover, for all
Well,
this
I discovered that, yes, it is worth buying the open paints
Yeah.
rather than trying to use the extender.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I was just having a good time. Some of them I think look a bit like biology slides,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
but I was okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know, that's starting to look a little like a biology slide. And
That's
then this
kinda cool,
one's
though.
really looking like a biology slide.
Yeah. But that's
Yeah, I
really
feel like I
cool.
should be giving a lecture on
It's
it
the
is low.
flagellin.
Right.
Yeah.
But
But I was having fun.
That's fun. That's great.
And then that was the
Yeah.
first week, and that
Yeah.
was just playing. And
Yeah.
then the one with the white on the right,
Mhm.
when I
Mhm.
first did it, I thought, wow, I would turn that white into orange or red orange or something. And
Hmm.
then I didn't, and I kind of like it white.
Mhm. Yeah, there's lots to
So-
be said. Exactly. I mean, and actually, this is a little, just to give you guys a little bit of a peek. We are going to be working with, simple compositions like this, where we are going to explore negative, positive. That very important element of art making that I think is so interesting, because it just can open your eyes to the world. You suddenly start to see what we call subject and background as being just key to interesting designs. And so, Nancy, you are already playing with that. So that's something that we're going to just be delving into later. Great. Okay, I want to move on to, let's see, Mary Ellen, you seem to be next here in terms of putting up her stuff. What did you learn this week? What's new?
I had a good time playing with basic things.
Good.
I did a lot with the fishing twine and like the results I got with that.
Yeah.
And I had this stretchy piece of fabric that came off of a piece of meat that I played with a lot, and like the textures I got with that.
Yeah.
And I also played a little bit with the strips of paper,
Yeah.
which is what this one is.
This one here?
No, the first one that you were looking at.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes.
Yeah. And
Yes. What kind of texture did this come from? What is this wavy stuff here?
that's the wrapping from the meat, the
Oh,
stretchy fabric.
interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, netting is, something
Looks like this,
Yeah.
if you can see it.
I can't see you.
Well,
Here, go ahead, show us.
it looks like this.
Oh yeah, fun. Yeah, netting is awesome. And when you go shopping, you start to look at things into the grocery store with a whole new view. What they
Yeah.
get to print on,
Yeah, like I'm not throwing anything away, and suddenly I'm
Yes.
going to my kitchen and I'm kind of like, oh look at what the
Oh.
onions come in. Oh my God.
Absolutely. It's unbelievable what you will find in your kitchen. I mean, the kitchen is the best place for printmaking stuff. I think, did we see this last week? I'm not sure, Mary Ellen.
No.
Okay, yeah, so tell us, and this one too?
That was a
Or-
stencil that I cut. I just put Post-it notes down on a piece of paper.
Yep.
And then cut out the centers of them.
Yeah.
And I liked how it came out. So then I did it on Yupo as well. And this, I think, is the Yupo version. And
So
then
let's just wait. I just want to go back, because some people might not be aware of what you're doing. This initial texture, do you want to describe how you did that? The stuff that looks like brocade.
that's lace.
Lace. Okay.
Yeah.
But tell how you did that.
So I put down the blue first
Yeah.
with the stencil to block out the
Okay.
various places.
Yeah.
And then I took the lace in red
Yeah.
and did it over the whole piece. So
Right.
in the background, you see the little design of the lace, and then it shows up better in the white part.
Yes. So in other words, and let me just say, did this was from pulling up the lace. This is not with the lace down. Is that?
No, it's pulling up the
Pulling
lace.
up yes. So remember from last week, you can put any sort of textural thing down on your area of rolled up paint and then pick it back up again. And you will have the remnants of, like, this is incredible to me. It almost looks photographic how accurate it is. And this is the beauty of gelatin printmaking and jelly printmaking, in that, you know, it tends to pick up such incredible detail. So it really does look, you know, someone looking at this who didn't know what we were doing would never guess how this was done. And that is, you know, so if you have any pieces of interesting fabric or lace, you know, this would be a great time to pull them out and play with them in class for sure. Or in
Adria?
team. Yes.
I'm a little confused.
Yeah.
So the bottom layer is the
Yeah.
blue and
Right.
then the white and red went on top of that?
No, the
Confused.
bottom layer is the blue, and I used the stencil to mask out part of the blue. So
Oh.
I printed the blue with the stencil on top of it, and then I took both of those off, and I inked up the plate again with the red and put the lace down on top of it, and, you know, really rubbed it in so that it picked up the detail. Then I picked the lace up and printed that on top of the blue and white.
You know, I'm going to
Wait a
be showing
second.
it.
You used the lace twice?
No.
No,
You know what, you guys, I have a video where I'm doing something similar. So, you know, don't worry about it, right?
Okay.
I will, you know, try to explain. It's awfully hard to look at it after the fact, but yes, it's basically.
Lovely.
Yeah.
It-
it's a
Thank
really
you.
It
interesting-
really is fast. It
Yeah.
pulls right in. with
Yeah,
the
yeah, it's a
textures and the
fascinating.
Layers and yeah.
It
I
is, it-
also, I'm like curious how the white is so white.
because it was blocked with the white is the white of the paper. It was blocked with the stencil
Okay.
so that the blue did not go over it. So when I picked up the stencil, I had
Oh,
the blue with the stark white on it.
oh.
Yeah, it-
Oh.
yeah.
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
the second layer is the lace with the
Yeah,
red.
Okay.
You could have actually done it the opposite way too, where the first color might have been the red with the lace on it, you know, print that over the whole thing. And then your second color could have been blue, where you had a stencil of all these, you know, angular shapes. And you see, so it could have gone either way, but I think,
Got it.
yeah.
Got it.
Okay, so yeah, really good. Thank you, Mary Ellen. All right, let's go back and see who else had. Kate, Kate, you're here. Hi. Let's talk a little bit about what you discovered. Kate, is Kate there? Oop, are you muted, Kate? I can't see anybody here. Are you there? Yeah, hi, you're muted. You're muted. There you
Okay,
go.
sorry. I learned that it's very important to mix the paint because, you know, I was playing with getting a violet and apparently I hadn't really mixed in the black well. And it showed, you know, it landed on that heart. Then I kind of loved the way
Yeah.
that turned out, but it was not planned. It was unexpected. And then I was trying to play with like the predictability, which was a little challenging because I'm a little dyslexic. And so like, it's the flip, right? So
I know.
challenge upon challenge,
Yes,
but fun to play with.
exactly.
And then I was trying to really get some crisp whites,
Mhm.
which I wasn't so successful in doing, and then I ended up not really wanting it. But I did want to be able to create a crisp white if I wanted it. And some of the ones I didn't put up, you know, my white would have a lot of splotching on it. So I'm kind of thinking about how I'd like to learn a little bit about trying. I like the splotches, but you know,
Yeah.
you want to be able
Sure.
to control, right? And
Yeah,
I
and
think
Kate-
one issue was pulling the stencils up. Like
Yeah.
it gets messy with your fingers if the pieces are small, you know?
Right. Okay. So let me just see if I'm understanding. So you actually used white paint on this part. Is that right?
No,
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 no
no.
white
Oh, no,
paint.
no. Okay.
No,
okay.
and this is, this one is, a goat, you know, the ghost.
Ghost. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But several down. It was
Yeah.
the fifth. And then I layered on top of it again.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
and then I printed on top of that.
Yeah, but I think this has a really interesting quality about it. And I think, you know, the fact that your paints sort of didn't mix is quite intriguing. So like, you know, we always say happy accidents are kind of
Yeah.
interesting. And so, you know, now you know that if you ever wanted that effect, you know how to get it, which is, you know, just don't mix your paints as well. So sometimes, you know, that just, that happens. But yes, you know, I have a demo that I'm going to do again for you guys, and we'll reiterate how to get those crisp, sharp, you know, areas of white if you want to. But it also looks like you're slipping a little bit, which isn't, you know, a big deal, unless you really want to have it be all registered. And you probably do want to at least, you know, feel like that's going to be standard. I'm going to guess that the tape slips a little.
I can't seem to get the tape. I'm wondering if I have the wrong tape. I have kind of a thick painter's tape that I was using.
Yeah.
Is that, do you think that might be the issue?
It
should
could be that
thinner?
the tape is not sticking quite enough. I mean, there's you know, a place where you don't want it to tear the paper. On the other hand, you also you really want it to stay down. So I would err on the side of having it stay down. Because you can, you know, if it tears your paper, so what? You can always cut that part off. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. And I didn't want to get too wrapped up in it, but I definitely think like going forward, I want to fix that.
Yeah.
Because again, it's predictability.
Exactly. So yes, but I think, you know, in general, you're done, you know, getting this idea perfectly. And let's see, who else have we not seen that we can't, who did we not talk to?
Me, Ellen.
Ellen, yes. Did you email me some stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, Ellen, we need to help you guys get onto Padlet.
No, I'll do it.
Okay. All right. Tell us what you learned.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Tell us what you learned.
Can you show all of mine?
Yes. Ah, very cool.
Interesting.
So, what did you learn?
So I did learn that the open paint is definitely much better.
Yeah.
I like when I left some of the white of the paper.
I
like that. I do really though want to learn about, I mean, I actually like these.
Yeah.
I do, you know.
Yeah.
But and I could probably do this again, but I really need to perfect my technique.
Okay.
But I was having fun with it. I really was.
I'm so glad. You know, I do hope that people, you know, when you're doing this, have some, you know, sense of just letting go and you know, enjoying the unpredictability of it, because it is really, really fun to do that. And you know, people love printmaking because of that very thing, that you are never quite sure what you're going to get. And
it's like photography.
It is. Yeah, but I love, you know, you get some interesting color mixtures here, Ellen. And you know, I would say the word painterly comes to mind when I look at these. And painterly, you know, has a feeling of sort of letting the paint marks show and letting it be, you know, letting some of these splooches and splotches are, you know, they add to the effect of the whole thing. You know, this is definitely a technique that lends itself to painterly kinds of effects. It does not lend itself to perfectly sharp edges. You know, I mean, you know, clean, you know, really like straight lines. So, you know, that's definitely, if you want to do that, there are other kinds of printmaking to get you there. Yeah, and this is you know, an interesting one where you have the black kind of effect on top of, you know, your yellow and mixtures. So, you know, again, letting the black come through, and it's okay. What happens is it just kind of adds, and I want everybody to think about that. The painterly effect, sometimes the residue or the little extra spots that happen actually add to the enjoyment for the viewer, I think, personally. Okay, good. Anybody else? Who else? Did we miss anybody? We talked to everybody here? Okay, good, good. It feels like there's more of you, but I guess not. Great. All right. So what I want to do now is take you right into, let's see. I think I'm going to show you the video, which because there were some technical questions. Let's go to do that, because I'm and also you're going to tell me if you can see this full screen. So I'm going to be very careful to make sure that we are looking full screen at these things. So let me just get this up. I want to show, here we go. Okay. Now, are you seeing this or no? Not yet?
Yeah,
Yes,
You are.
we see it.
Okay.
I see
Is
it.
it, and is this full screen or not?
Yes.
It is.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we're going to hope that this works, because I want you, when you go back to look at this video on the video, excuse me, for this week, that you see it full sized. All right. So this is a video I made this morning. It is kind of going over some of these things that we talked about today, and I want to narrate it because it doesn't have any sound. So what I want to just explore, explain, and I'm going to fast forward through some of this, but what this is a video showing you, first of all, I'm using 4 sheets of paper, which if you haven't done that yet is a really fun thing to do. And I'm also showing you how to incorporate leaves into your artwork. And also, just as you watch me do this, it may clarify some of the technical issues. So first of all, I want to stop and say, so I don't have all that much paint on my surface. And this is something you want to just, acknowledge. You don't need that much paint. And, that is something to think about. I've really tried to spread it evenly. And the more evenly you spread with your brayer, the more consistent your printing will be, without a whole lot of background noise, so to speak. And yeah, of course, it's not going to be perfect, and that's the nature of this process. It is not going to be like a solid sheet of anything. We don't want that, it's just, but this is one of the things. Okay, so, and by the way, this is a color that I used called, what is it? I think it's phthalo green. And you can make this with your ultramarine blue and well, not ultramarine. You can mix a color similar to this with green with blue and yellow. All right. So by the way, I went and picked some hemlock, because that's about the only thing I could find in my backyard. And I wanted to show you what we could do with leaves or anything that has a sort of texture on one side. And as you can see here, I'm pulling it up, and we have a lot of negative space, because the leaf is blocking out just about everything on the plate. And I've also didn't press that hard. Okay, ghost number 2, first ghost is going back over it, and I am pressing a little bit more hard. So I'm going to get nice, clean edges. And again, because I don't have a ton of paint on there, you will still have plenty. It really is amazing how much it transfers. But now you can see that I have much sharper edges, right? Okay, now picking up the leaves, I have texture that I have left on the plate. And I'm thinking now about actually putting the piece of the hemlock right side up, so that the image gets, some of the ink, but I decided not to. So what I'm doing is, what I just did was I put the negative space one, the very first one, I'm going to reprint it with just what's left over, which is the texture of the leaves. All right, so now you're going to see, and this is something, you could do that, but you wouldn't have to. But this is something I thought I would show you, because it is something that you can do if you feel like that first image just has too much white space.
Oh, that's
You want to have,
beautiful.
yeah,
That's
exactly. You want to have.
interesting.
By the way, you guys, you probably want to keep this on mute while I'm showing the video, just so that you can see it all the time without getting I don't know if people are seeing other talks, but anyway, yeah. So now what I did is I'm putting down an image that has the right side up of the leaf onto, we're going to see here, and pressing hard onto, I think it was the second. Let's just see what I did here. Just I can't remember. And I'm pressing hard. So I'm really looking to transfer a lot of that paint. Okay, so do you see what happened here? That ghost image that I had before, I reprinted with some texture on it. All right, now I'm pulling it up and it's pretty clean. Let's see what I'm going to do next. I honestly forgot what I did. Let's see what I have here. Oh, I'm going to clean it off. Okay, so I'm cleaning this off in between. And I'll just fast forward this, clean, clean, clean. And as I said, you know, you don't have to make it pristine, but it's nice to get, you know, some of it off because you don't want to contaminate your color. But now I'm using magenta. And again, not too much, and if it's too skimpy, you're going to find it really is noticeable. You really have to work to cover. So then you know that you have probably too much. There's a lot of paint on here. And I can see that because it's glistening a little. But I think I'm just going to use it. Okay, good. I'm just using it. And again, I want to say that I am reusing the same design element. What I want to say about that before I go is that these are pretty small plates. They're 8 by 10, which it's small. I mean, there's not a huge amount of space. So to add a lot of detail and a lot of different kinds of images gets kind of confusing. So I would really think about, as I said last week too, simple is going to get you a stronger print in the end. So I would say if you're using rubber bands, use rubber bands throughout your whole thing. Or if you add something, maybe make it a very big shape. I'm using the leaves, and I think, you know, keeping to the leaves because there's a lot going on is probably the best thing to do for this relatively small space that I am using. Okay, so now I went full force onto the fourth piece of paper that I hadn't printed yet. And as I got in the beginning, I ended up with lots of negative space. All right, so, but we're gonna come around. So I'm doing, you know, 4 sheets all together, and you'll see how you can go back and forth with them. All right, now I'm printing that one on the left and using what's left of the paint on the surface and some of the, you know, let's see, do they have the leaves on them? No. Okay, so I haven't turned over the leaves yet. So again, I'm getting a big shape printed on a big shape. Now I'm going to repeat and still not print the delicate leaves yet. They're still face down into the paint. And because I've got a lot going on. So that was a design decision. And we're going to take a look at these finished, and I'm going to, you know, we'll be able to sort of see more closely what I did. So because I printed so heavily, right, I really went around with my fingers around the edges, I get sort of an extra bit of paint, but still the negative space. Now I'm taking away the leaves, and now I have a lot of, you know, interesting texture, which I'm adding back to that early one. So again, pressing pretty hard, trying to transfer all of that, the rest of the paint, and that's what you get. The thought here is that on such a light one, something heavy and dark might be a good contrast to use. And so that's, you know, some of the way you can be thinking as you go around about on to your printing. Now I have still a lot of interesting texture left, and I'm going to go back to pick up that that amount of texture and see what happens. It kind of goes back in the area, just as I did in the early print, that first one, kind of replicating what I did in that very first one. This one still only has magenta on it. It doesn't have any green yet. Okay, So let's see, we're going to move across, we're going to wipe off. Now, what I promised I would show you today is what happens when you mix white with your paint. And we've been holding off on that because we've been trying to focus on what happens when you use all these transparent colors. You're just going to get transparent colors blending with, the one that was below it or on top of it. And that's really pretty cool. But if you add a paint to this whole process that is opaque and has white in it, that's the big key. It has white added to any color. This is a pre-mixed paint from Golden that's called Titan Pale Green. It's simply white paint that's already, got a little bit of, two other pigments in it, but mostly it's titanium white, as I mentioned before. Well, with the name of that paint, Titan Pale, you can hear the word titanium in there. Titanium is a pigment that is pretty opaque, and it happens to come in white. So when you mix it with any of your other colors, you're going to get a color that is like, pink, light blue, very pale orange. Everything is going to be mixed with white. So I had too much paint on here, so I'm just taking some off. You can always do that. You can scrape down. I mean, there really is, a point where if you have too much paint, you may have discovered it just gets kind of all over the place. So this is fairly heavy because I really did want to show you what happens when you add an opaque color. And then when you print over, even this paint becomes a little bit more transparent in the ghost versions of it. So I'm using my very same design element. I'm just going to, use it again to be consistent and to not kind of make too much going on in a very small space. So this is very random. I don't know where these are going to show up. I love that aspect of printing. So we're ready now to go on top of something, and probably deciding here. Oh, yes. What I decided was I didn't want to cover so much of my print. So I took some torn shapes and I'm going to cover some of the other area here. And I'm also going to cover another chunk over here because I like a lot of the coverage that I got in the other ones. And so I don't feel like I want to completely get rid of that. And this is what you can do too. Again, this paper is acting as a stencil. And now what we're going to see is what happens when I print it on that all mostly magenta one. And I'm going to go and press pretty hard. And Kate, again, that is going to be how you will get really clean edges. Just pressing with your fingers harder where you can feel where that, where the shape is. You really can. So just press, press, press as hard as you can around those edges. And so what you get is an interesting coverage of that piece that I think I decided to tear it out and show you. Yeah, this is helpful. So as you can see, what ended up happening is I had my big areas, right? These were where the branches were. And I covered up, with my paper, a big chunk over here and here because, over here too, because I really like to show some of this. I'm feeling like if I had allowed that white or the Titan Pale Green to cover all of this, I would miss all of this area. And I kind of wanted to save it. So, again, that's a choice that you can make. You can say, you know what, I really don't want all of that stuff. I think I'm going to like it better with less, and just let your opaque color go over all of it, cover it. And you will cover it. But you also can make the choice to, maybe preserve more. All right, so there's that one. Let's go see what happens when I add the next one here. So the next version, the next printing, I am going to keep everything as is and go over the one on the top. And again, press, press, press around your edges, and you will again get a nice crisp edge. Pressing with your fingertips, you can feel it. You can just kind of, I'm standing when I was printing this, and that gives you a little more leverage. That really does give you, a good amount of force to spread out all of that pressure and just get as much of that paint transferred as you can. And we'll see what happens with this one. And I think I'm going to tear this out and show you what happens. So remember, this is our second printing. So this is not going to be quite as opaque as it was. And as you can see, it is not, but it's apparent, and I think it definitely adds something to this piece. All right, and going one more time, we're going to just skip over here. This is here. Let me just go back and show you what happened here. Yeah, what I did was I removed these. I removed the here we go. Hello, come on. Yeah, I removed these. Now what we have is the slight texture that's in a pretty opaque paint still. And we're now going to print on top of one over there. Oops, that's all right. And then again, press, 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 very with a lot of pressure to transfer that light color. And we'll see what we get in this one. Aha. So you can see here the transfer of the paint a little bit more. And this one becomes complex. And yet, because we repeated the same basic shape, it holds the composition together in a way that if I was, adding a whole other design element, it might not. So that is something to think about. Now, finally, for my very last printing, I'm going to remove my stencils, my paper stencils, and I'm going to print on this last piece to see what happens, see what I can make transfer on this final piece. And again, a lot of pressure. And press, 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 and we'll show you here what that ends up. Oops. Yeah, so this is what, whoops, get back here. That's what this one looks like. And as you can see, it also has interest to it that it might not have had previously, because this was fairly light and it was fairly kind of obvious what happened. When you add these little things, you sort of create a little mystery about how this actually was done. Okay, so that was that. What I want to do now is to quickly show you on my Padlet these finished pieces, and we can talk about them. So go ahead, you can unmute yourselves now. And I'm going to go back to my Padlet and show you. Let's see here. Here we go. Okay, so this line. So what I want to do is go over these and have you ask questions. And if this is confusing in any way, let me know. So this is what this whole thing looks like. This is that one magenta one. What happens is the green that I had on that surface that I didn't wash out completely is still there a little bit. That's what that is. But any questions on this one?
This is the one that you added white to.
Well, all of these on the top are the ones I added white.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
yeah, all of these up here are ones that, this is from the series, and I thought I would just photograph them and put them up for you, just so, you get a better chance to see what actually happened here. But I wonder, if there, and as you can see, even though, like I said, this particular paint is like you would mix up a similar paint yourself using white as your base color, and then, adding, maybe you would add, your phthalo green or your ultramarine blue or whatever to make a light green or light blue, whatever it is, then or even just the white itself. Even though it's opaque the first time around, it's going to get lighter and lighter as you print it. So there, you do want to think about that as you're printing, but you can still see that this pretty much covers, what is underneath it. And that's just one other technique to know about, that might be coming in handy. Yeah, I know this is pretty successful. And again, you don't know really which ones are going to end up being most successful. It's just one of those luck of the draw. Really, I was completely on automatic pilot here when I was doing these. I had no thoughts about design. I just knew I'm sticking with the same design elements as I knew that I would get consistency. So as you can see, this one is paler. Again, this one does not have any of the white on it. This is just the ghost. And then this is the final like Titan pale green that's just got a little bit of a tinge of green to it, kind of a pea green, I would say. And then that shows through. Okay, so
I have a
that's-
question.
Sure,
I
Katie, yeah.
have a question.
Yeah.
Can you go back to the pictures?
Yeah.
And the one, yeah, the one with maybe it's okay. Let's look at the second one. Okay. So I think I saw you, it might be right, but sometimes you'd put it down
Yeah.
and you would just, like maybe on that one with the white, did you just press around the leaves? Like
Yes.
I saw you, okay.
Yes, that's right.
So you
Yeah,
just pressed around the leaves. So
right.
you just have that impression.
Yeah. My first color here was phthalo green, and that was, I think this was the first one that I printed, or maybe it was the second, but I did not pick the leaves up. There were two of them at the beginning, the same amount of paint, you know, and then I just, you know, so you get this really interesting outer edge, and you can still see a little bit of it here. But so there's the white of the page. And so, you know, there's always this thought about, well, if you want white and you want the white of the page to show, and we're going to get there, you need to think about how you want to save the white. Does everybody understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you want to save that leafy shape, you're going to have to keep that same piece of hemlock tree down there for all the, you know, the images, and it's pretty, it's kind of hard to find where you did it the first time. But yeah, I don't want to confuse everybody, but just, you know, remember that the only way you're going to have pure white, unless you actually put, you know, one of your colors as white paint, the only way to have the white is by covering it, you know, preserving it through the whole printing process.
Mhm.
Make
Right.
sense?
So you can just press on, you know, what you want to
Yep.
control what's getting.
Yes,
and what's not.
exactly, of course. And you can press, yeah, like if you only want a certain area, you can only ink, you could just decide to ink up only like half your plate and do something over here. Or cover your whole half of a plate with a torn piece of paper. And then this will still be white, you know. So yeah, you can do all of these things. It's pretty interesting to think about that. So there's no necessity for you know, having to roll your paint up on this whole thing the whole time. Any other questions? Anybody else? A little bit more clear? Clear as mud? Yeah. Okay, again, so this is the point here is to see, you know, what happens when we start to print with opacities, right? And you know, this one here is there's no white. This is the white of the paper, and that was, you know, because that was the very first image that went down there, and then I don't remember how this was done. I don't want to confuse anybody, but anyway, that's one of the things that we're going to be working with today. Okay. Now I want to just give you one real quick thing, and then I want you to work, because what I want you to do is to now think about white and think about opaque color a little bit. All right. So we're going to just I want to show you, because I don't want you to think that that rolling up. Let me see. I want to make sure that this one is full. I'm going to pin this. Okay, everybody see this really well? Yep. All right, so I can take my paintbrush and I can decide to paint. you know, there is nothing about, you know, having to do the brayer all the time. That is absolutely completely up to you. It's a technique that I like to show people how to do first because, you know, it kind of is, you know, it kind of gives you a good overall sense. But let me just print this for you so you can see, you know, and I could decide to, let's see, why don't I add another color just to show you, you know, some of the possibilities. So let's see here. This is kind of fun. I've got a black, you know, open paint here. I'm going to just dip a little whatever thing in here. And I'm going to do this. So you guys may have really a lot of fun with that. Okay, and now just need to show you what this looks like when you print it. So I've got a nice clean brayer, so I'm going to use that to just, you know, help out with the pressure. You know, again, your hands are totally fine, but if you have a clean brayer, you can use that. And
Ta-da! Beautiful.
And you have a lot of paint still left here. You've got plenty of paint for another, I would say, at least one other printing, at least. And so on this, you could say, oh, great, you know, so that's the beginning of a print. Maybe I'm going to put some transparent color on top of it in certain areas to give it some background. Or maybe it's fine the way it is. But I just wanted you to know that the brayer is just one technique of you know, several that we're going to be learning. All right, questions, anything at all still?
Are you recommending that we incorporate something like that in our stuff today to just play around with?
Sure, I think absolutely. I mean, it's going to be one of the new, you know, sort of like adding a little bit each week, not to overwhelm you, but just to say, okay, so we've talked about stencils, we've talked a little bit about textures, and now, you know, you don't have to use the brayer all the time if you don't want to, because there may be a case where you really want to be more in control of the design. And, you know, this is so fun to be able to, you know, do like a little stamp printing all over it. You know, it just kind of adds to, oh, another, you know, element that can be really fun to see what happens.
And you could add it at the very beginning, or you could add it further along.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. Now, I do have a recording about how to line up things after the fact. Like if you wanted like to print on top. I'm not going to show it now. I want you to print now. And I may show it at the very end, and it may be part of your homework. So let's go print. I'm going to be here to answer any questions. And let's, it's now just noon. We have one more hour. Let's go print for say 40 minutes. And during that time, just play. And again, the assignment today is see what happens, you know, when you keep white in your head. Like, okay, I want to, you know, really be conscious of my white paper and maybe think about, you know, how I want to use it. And also I want to see what happens when I, you know, use opaque color. And so I'm actually advising that you use opaque at the end of your printing session because it doesn't really make sense to use it for your first color. You know, when you print a color lightly, like magenta, for example, you know, your first color is going to be kind of dark. The second ghost of that will be kind of the same value as you would have if you added a lot of white, right? So you don't really need to add white to your colors at the very beginning. You can, but it might be more, you know, you might get more understanding about how it works if you use it a little bit later to cover up some of your already printed areas.
Adrienne,
Right, so there's no right or wrong in this. I'm just sort of inviting you to try this out. And again, you know, in terms of what you're using for your stencil, anything goes. You can keep using stripes of paper cut. You can, you know, play with anything that you have been dying to play with that you've got around your house. But, you know, paper stencils are totally fine if you want to keep to that.
Adria, I have a quick question.
Yes,
So, if you have open paint,
yeah.
how much non-open can you use of acrylic to mix before you ruin the openness? You know?
Oh, you want to have at least half and half, Nancy.
Okay,
Has
all
been my
right,
experience, and maybe err on the side of a little bit more open than you think.
okay, all right, great, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Sally, do you have a
Adria?
question? Yeah.
Yes, along the same lines, I don't have any opaque open colors yet.
Okay, yeah. So you need to add
So
white.
I was going to use some titanium white from the Golden Fluid acrylic and should I mix it with the open medium or mix it with an open acrylic?
When you,
I mean,
yeah, when you mix it with an open acrylic, that should be pretty good.
it should
You
be
know,
opaque enough.
It should be. I
I
think
mean,
so.
I have black, that's opaque, but I want to use
It is.
white. So-
Yeah, I think white is fun to try. Yeah, if you have any
Okay.
troubles with it, Sally, just add a little bit more medium to it.
Okay,
A little bit more
thank you.
open medium. Yeah, but it should be fine. Yeah. Okay, anybody else?
I'm sorry, one more quick question.
Yeah.
Do you want us to try doing 4 pages?
I think it's super fun to do that. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I think because you've already got that extra piece of paper ready to go. If you have something really interesting on your plate that you want to grab, because you can always, take an impression and save it for later. As I said, we're going to learn how to re-register so that you could start a whole new series with one that just kind of seems like a one-off if it doesn't have enough paint to go with it. But yeah. Yeah, so now you have a lot of options. I'm not, suggesting that you do have to do 4, but now you know why you might want to do 4 at once. I think it's really pretty fun to have that as an option. All right, everybody. So let's start to work, and I'm here to answer any of your questions. So just call out at any time, and I can't wait to see what you do. Yeah, have fun. So anything goes in terms of what you want to use as a stencil. If you feel like you want to go outside and grab some leaves, if they're already out there. It's a little tricky to use super dry leaves if they crumble when you press on them, but you might have some out there anyway.
And you
All right.
recommend sticking to one design element?
I think it's a wise, it's not a bad thing. Yeah, because these are not very big. At the end of the day, it's kind of small. It's 8 by 10. So we are going to get into more of that. We are definitely going to branch out into larger pieces of paper and putting more than one thing together. But for right now, it's not a bad idea to kind of lessen the amount of complication you have. All right, so you're free to mute yourselves. I'm going to mute everybody. And if you have any questions, just unmute and just call out. I will be here. So I'm suggesting just to try a little bit of a white. Yeah, it's if somehow it just doesn't appeal to you to do it today, don't worry about it. It's totally fine. But this is something I think is really important to know about, when and how and why you might want to use an opaque color. Wow. everybody is pretty quiet out there. I guess, everybody, just let me know if you have any questions. We have about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes left. And that doesn't mean you should stop printing. It just means, for today's class, take pictures wherever you are. And, when you're done in about 15 minutes, go ahead and upload them to Padlet, and we will quickly take a look and see what we've all done with this particular assignment. So remember, you're not making art with a capital A. You are simply playing, trying out different things, seeing what happens when you add white to a color, when you are purposely trying to make an opaque color on top, and also thinking about using the white of the piece of paper that you have. Okay, everybody. Go ahead and upload a couple images to our Padlet, or just send them to me via email, either one that is most easy for you. And we'll have a chat about this this experience. Not sure what you want to call it. All right, go ahead and unmute yourselves. And we'll all come together.
I don't want to stop. I'm having so much fun.
Oh, I know. So, I know, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I do want to make sure that I answer technical questions before we have to go. So,
I was just about to yell at my dogs, but I think that's your dog, right?
it's my dog. It's my dog. Yeah, we have little visitors today, so she's going crazy out of her mind. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen and you know, we'll start slowly looking at the Padlet, and just I want to hear your reactions to this particular process and any questions or issues. All right. Oh God, sorry about that, you guys. So Nancy, you're here on the top. Let's take a look at what you did. So what, you know, yeah, great. What did you learn? What, you know, what technical issues, questions came up for you?
So I have the feeling that when I am using the brayer, I am particularly vigorous because it moves the jelly plate and then I'm off register.
Oh,
So I think I need to be cognizant of that.
maybe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I had fun. What I like is where you've used a stencil and then after you've gotten to like your third print, you get that dark outline
Yes.
around it. I think that's really fun. And here I was experimenting. I'd done some blue on the right.
Yeah.
And then I put some crazy yarn over it with the white.
Oh, that's a great idea. So
yeah,
this is
and that was
this is
yeah,
yarn,
that was
everybody.
fun.
Yeah, what a good idea. There's a particular kind of yarn. I think I know what you're talking about. It has kind of like a fuzzies attached to it, little.
Yes, it's this.
tiny
I don't know if
things.
you can see it's this stuff.
Oh, right. Look at
Yeah.
that. Yeah, how fun. I think everybody here probably wants some.
Yeah, I know. It's great.
Very good.
Called eyelash.
I don't
eyelash.
know. My daughter gave it to me.
Aha, perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
And then,
Yeah, go ahead.
okay. And that was that guy. And then that was another one. I had this crazy ribbon with
Yeah.
rhinestones.
Very
And
good. Very good.
yeah, and that
Yes.
worked.
Mhm.
This was the boldest where I kept some white.
Yes, great to see that.
Yeah. And then I think there was just one more.
All right, well, you
Maybe
know,
there were-
yeah, I mean, that's just.
Oh, I sent the same one twice.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna just kind of skim pretty quickly.
Okay, great.
Over everybody's just to kind of see what, you know, what we all did here. Kate, this is yours.
Yeah.
You have some bubble wrap here. Great. And how did you feel today? Did you feel like you looks like nice crisp edges here? Did you feel
Yes.
better about that now?
That was my main goal,
Good,
crisp
excellent.
edges.
Yeah.
And playing with mixing a little bit.
Great.
Yeah, I like it more. I would prefer to see it on the horizontal, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't quite have that.
That's okay. That's okay.
But yeah, so that was fun, and also sticking with the same design element.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, no, I can see that. And you know, yeah, this is all, you know, the process of trial and error to getting stronger edges, you know, when you want them. And let's see, you had one more here. I was just going to quickly show this one here. Yeah, good. Okay. Looks like you did a little bit of brush painting here.
Yes, I didn't have a paintbrush up here, but I just played with something like that. And yeah, wanted to see how it would look. I do it. Yeah. Anyway.
Fabulous.
Just playing around.
Yes, that's what we're doing here. Terrific. All right, Tammy, I saw you pushing some stuff up there. Oh yeah, good. You got some nice shapes here. You found some oak leaves. Lucky you. That were still intact.
Well, I heard what you were saying about the dryness. I was trying to be gentle, and they didn't break.
Good.
So even though they're brown, yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's such a wonderful thing to always know that you can go to some leaves for some wonderful, strong shapes. Yeah, how did you feel about did you add white? You're added white here. Is this
so
light?
I added white to this magenta.
Great. Oh yeah.
So I mixed that in. And I was also using netting. So you can see like the first time that I did it when it was just in green, and that came across really clear.
Yeah.
I guess. And in the second one, I think it looked more like stars, which I was like, oh, cool. Random, this other weird design, but it's the same design element. So I really like that.
Yes, yes. Good to see that. Let's see, Robin, let's just check you out here. Good. So what did you learn about your adding white, if you did or not? How did you do? Oh, Robin, you're muted.
I'm so sorry. I apologize.
No worries. Yeah.
I think what I learned today from the group and you, but a lot of people said about the open. So I don't have open paints, which we discussed. So I added more of the medium, and it stayed wetter longer.
Excellent.
Yeah, and so I don't know if I think too much or I think not enough. I'm not sure exactly. Still feel a real struggle. So yeah, but anyway, so that's it.
Okay, good. Yeah, I know. I think the quality of the paint looks stronger with the extra added stuff, and that's part of just playing and learning with it. Excellent, Robin. Great. Let's see. Mary Ellen had some. Let's see. Did you have some? Yeah. Mary Ellen, you had some ones where you were using white. What did you learn?
I did not add white paint. I was just using the white of the paper.
Great. Yep. Yeah.
I need practice.
No, but it looks nice and it looks
they're crisp.
Very crisp, exactly. And that's all part of what we're all about here. Yeah. Terrific. Let's see. I was gonna say Katie, yeah. Yep, how did you do with your white? Oh, Katie, you're muted too.
I didn't get to add my white.
Okay.
I think I got lost in thinking I had to stick to, I committed to the circle. And it's fine. And I did a texture, with different at the beginning, and
I like these, that like they belong in like an astronomy book or something.
We have sort of a planetary thing going on here.
I think I'll like to explore working with leaves or something that can be a bigger statement and blocking out some like bigger spaces.
But I think you did,
And
yeah, good.
I think anyways, but I'm happy. I
Yeah,
played around, you know.
Yeah, I'm particularly interested in these color combinations here. I think this,
Yeah.
this makes a very striking color, sort of combination. You're getting, is this yellow with the?
Yeah, it's yellow. I added
Wow.
yellow and I didn't go with the circle. I just took some
Yeah.
random cutout pieces and plopped them down. And
Perfect.
then now I like that, you
Good.
know.
Good. All right, and you're just touching on everybody here. Sally, are we waiting for you?
No, they're up there.
Oh, they're right there. Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Yay,
They're blue and green.
blue and green, blue and green. Oh, there you
There's
go.
one.
Yep. Okay, yes, they're very soft. Yeah, so tell us, what did you learn with this
So,
analysis?
Well, I learned that I'm slow. I think in a couple more hours I would have it down.
Okay.
And I also learned that I should have added a lot more. I mixed titanium white, just regular fluid acrylic, with
Yes.
ultramarine blue open.
Mhm.
And I should have added a lot more of the open medium to
Oh,
it.
okay.
It was very dry.
Oh, yeah.
I could barely get it off the plate afterwards.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, we need more. Okay. Liv and Lorna,
Yeah.
that was me telling you that would be fine, but no.
No, you said to add more. If I had more time, I would have added more medium and done it again, but
still,
and I will
think we're gonna
probably
get
as soon
that.
as we're done.
Yeah, exactly. But I think this is, this is really a nice little area here where you've got your lighter blue and you
Yeah.
are covering up. And this is today's lesson, how and when you might want to use opacity. That's really
Right.
it. And really, there is no judgment about these. This is great for everybody to see how each of us has used it in different ways and experimenting in different ways with it. So it's all good. Sally, and I think it's great to play with that, adding the gel medium when you know that you need more open consistency when you're mixing your two different kinds of acrylics. Yeah. It's just a learning curve with that. And, unfortunately, my not being there, it's harder for me to actually, be able to tell you what's going to work. But you did, this is and very delicate, nice. What are you using here for your?
I ran out front on the front deck and grabbed a branch off a dying plant.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. And what I brought into today, and I didn't get a chance to use, was these hostas. Anyway, I just stopped sharing for a
Oh,
second.
neat. Yeah.
And I mean, it was pretty awful, but you can see all the nice striations on that.
Yeah.
It could be pretty cool, but oh boy, what a mess. Anyway, let's see, who else did we not see? Did we see everybody? Ellen, did you email to me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Let me go back to my email here and see what Ellen, thank you, Ellen. Great. And let's see what you did. Oh, all right. Yeah, good. And so what was your takeaway from using the white today?
I really can't figure out the amount of paint. It just seems to dry. I don't know how you can do all these prints. I do one and then it's dry and I have nothing left.
So so you said you're not using open acrylic, is that right?
I am.
You are.
I am. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? What
What?
kind of plate do you have? Did you? I'm wondering if you actually got speedball by mistake. Because this is exactly what we saw happening. Remember what I was saying about the speedball and acrylic?
Right.
They don't like each other.
I don't know. I didn't think I had speedball, but I didn't check. I can check.
I'm almost positive that that's what's happening for you. Because
Oh.
that is what we saw when, this big revelation about the mixing of the speedball. Oh, Ellen, I hate to, I'm gonna guess, if you can find the packaging, it would be helpful.
Yeah, I have it upstairs.
Great, I would double check, because
Okay.
if it is, you may need to buy another plate.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Okay,
I just,
That's
but
what
if
it
it's
is.
not,
You can't drop
should I
that.
just add more medium?
No, if it is not your plate, let me know as soon as you can
Okay.
find out, because
Okay.
that could be, everything.
Okay, I'm gonna run upstairs.
Yeah, okay, but I would say that, I'll stay on with you, actually. That's probably, but meanwhile, I know she went away, but I think she did get some nice clarity. And yeah, you can see the addition of a little bit of white gives a feeling of light in your prints. And it is, really, it's a good thing to know that you can do that, and then, how you can use it. So I think we talked about everybody. So what I'm going to do is just say that it looks like we're coming together. And guys, this is a great, learning curve. I hope you're enjoying the ride. There's so much, more. This is the 10-week class, so you have plenty of time. But I am, trying to take you systematically through some of these possibilities. What will happen slowly but surely is we're going to, get more and more involved in, sort of what to do with these prints and how you can control it. Let me just hear from Ellen real quick. What did you find out, Ellen?
No, it's jelly arts.
Wow. Okay. If you can stay on with me after we end, let me troubleshoot with you. Okay. So I will be in Tucson next week, but I will still have this class with you guys. So taking a little vacation out away from the cold weather, but I will have our 2-hour class at the usual time, so you can see me then. And don't throw any of your prints away. I hope everybody is saving everything. Don't throw them, because we are going to be doing some collage work with them. We are going to be doing some other kinds of efforts with them, in which you will really need to be able to go back to some of your pieces, and we will use them.
Right.
Okay, so
I'm printing on both sides of some of the papers.
okay, fine.
So
That's fine. Yeah. So for next week, I will send you a little assignment to do. And next week we will be talking more about what I wanted to get into today, but I didn't have a chance to, which is negative, positive space, and how that works with your, as we move forward with your compositions and your working with your jelly plate. So, okay, it is 1 o'clock. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank
And,
you.
Thank you.
See you
Thanks,
next week,
guys.
same time.
Safe
Right, have fun.
And yeah, great. You too. And Ellen, stay on with
Yeah.
me, and we'll talk about your problem here. Everyone. Oh dear. All right, Ellen. Oh my God. You have a jelly and it's doing that.
Yeah.
All right. Show me your inks. Let me see your paints rather. Let me just see what you're doing here, because this is very weird. Oh, so those are not open. Those
Oh.
are high flow.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Oh.
yeah. You want to get open paints, and they look
Oh.
like this. They say open on them.
oh. So, okay,
See that?
got it.
And if
got
you're
it.
buying them, yeah.
I have one black that says
Oh, okay.
open.
So yeah, this is what the open looks like.
Oh, so if I want to use this, can I use it? No. Okay.
It's just too thin. I would say you could but you have to use a lot of medium, and it will be mostly medium and just a little bit of that, because it's so
Oh.
thin. So
Okay.
you're welcome to try it. If you have a lot of those paints, do you have a lot?
I mean, I didn't realize I had so many. I think there was a sale.
Okay.
The store was closing, so I got a while ago,
So what I would do is, here, let me show you on my my plate how to make those work for you. So let me set my medium. Yeah, well, I knew there was a problem. I knew that wasn't, something was amiss there.
Yeah.
Because that shouldn't happen. Yeah. But that's what it looks like with it looks exactly like that with
figured it out.
All right, so here's your medium, right? And it's gooey and jelly like that.
But which medium are you using?
Open.
Okay.
So you need to buy open medium. And
Okay.
it says see open. You can't miss that. Yeah.
Got it.
So I'm putting it on my plate here. So that's just plain. It's not white. It just looks white because
Yeah,
it's anything else to it. All right. So we're going to let me just grab some fluid, some high flow paint. Yeah, I got it here. Okay. So just like you, this is the high flow. This is what you have,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
All right. So now watch how much I'm going to put in. Just a little. Come on. Of course, now it doesn't want to come out. There you go. Okay, so I put 1 drop in there,
Right.
and now I'm gonna mix it up with that open, with that medium. That's what you're gonna wanna do most, and if it's still too, I mean, that looks pretty transparent to me. I don't know. And it's a little deceptive because we're still seeing a lot of the gel, I mean, the white from the gel. So it's not gonna be nearly as, it's not gonna be cloudy like that when you actually print with it.
Oh,
But
okay.
I would say go very slowly and add just drops of it, because this is very concentrated.
Okay.
It's got a lot of pigment in it. So, what I would do is, when you've got that like this, let's just see here. I'm gonna spread it across this and just see what I got. I mean, this is not necessarily the advisable, combination here.
All right.
But if you
Maybe
can,
I'll go and buy some things then.
yeah, if you have a heavy body paint, that would be easier to work with, because then you'd be able to see it a little bit better. See, I'm still feeling like you don't have enough pigment in here. So I
Right.
would just I guess I would just add a little bit more. I'm trying to get it to where, we can sort of be comparable. But that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, what I would say is, if you kind of, you don't mind breaking the bank, I know these paints are expensive, I would get open paints, because your experience of doing this,
Yeah.
so much better.
Right. I kept wondering what was going on.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so, yeah. So, all right, I'm curious, I just want to see what this is like.
Okay.
I'm gonna print it on, this one here, because I just want to see, because this is not something that I typically do. But it's good for me to know as an instructor, like what this actually would do. But it was way more medium than thin, as you saw. So let's just see what this is. Oh, all right. So that's what I got. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a little, more, yeah. Yeah, okay. So that's what you get.
All right. Well, you know what? I'll get some and I'll use some, I'll mix.
I think that's good. But as long as you can see though, I really used a lot more medium. And I think that would be your
Okay.
trick. Yeah.
All right. Thanks so
Yeah.
much.
Oh, you're welcome. It was fun having Natty in class this weekend. Did she tell you about it?
We loved it.
It was so
Wow.
intense. It was 3 days. Oh my God.
You're good. You're good. I told her you were good. Oh, I have one question. I
Yeah.
saw you giving a class using cardboard.
Really? What?
You don't know? Your next class in March? No?
No. Next class in March is studio practice.
I don't know what that is.
So that would be like, if you wanted to be more serious about your work, we would, talk about, how to set up a studio, like, lighting and all that stuff. Then we would talk about, inspiration and all, we're really going to go through the whole, process of getting yourself sort of, started as a.
I can't believe that you're doing that, because we just are creating an art studio I
Great.
bought a shed, and I know, and it's so weird that but I'm afraid I'm late. It's like gonna be, I don't know, maybe I won't do that much until I hear your class, or is there some book I can read or something that?
I mean, I can give you some pointers, just happy to, just chat like offline or whatever, if you want someday,
Yeah,
only offline, I
because-
mean, just,
I mean, I'm just like gonna start moving in. The painter is just finishing up.
Wonderful. Well, I would say, the lighting is something to think about, and, and you got walls that you can push pin things into.
Right.
Good.
Well, what kind of lighting? Because I bought it, but I haven't put it up yet.
Well, I have track lighting in my space, and that's really nice. Yeah,
That's
that'll be
what I
good.
got.
Perfect. I bet you're gonna be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Excellent, Ellen. How big is it?
It's 12 by 16.
Wonderful.
No water. no water.
No
but,
water. It's okay, you can make do.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah.
It's a big,
But with these, but with the printing that I was doing, it was drying out so quickly. It was like, oh my God, I need water. I need
Yeah.
water. You
No.
know? Okay.
no
Yeah.
water. No, no,
All
no,
right,
no.
you fixed it.
In fact, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'll see you later.
Okay.
Have a
All
good
right.
week.
Thanks a lot, Adria.
Yeah,
Really
no
appreciate it.
I'm glad we figured it out because I was
Yeah.
like, what the heck?
Yeah.
There's always a reason.
Okay. All right. Enjoy Tucson.
I will. Thank
Okay.
you.